Hey, Shalom Israel, Brother Reggie Jr. here. So today, guys, I'm going to be reading Leviticus chapter 14, just picking up where I left off from last time, brothers and sisters. And in this chapter, we're going to be dealing with the cleansing of lepers. Now, as I stated in my previous lesson, a lot of this physical stuff that the Lord gave our ancestors was to show us a spiritual meaning. And once you can understand that, brothers and sisters, that a lot of these things is personification, parables, symbology, you will understand majority of this Bible. Okay, like we'll look at stories about David, stories like Adam and Eve, Gideon. We'll look at all of these things as just good stories. Oh, that was a good read, but we don't realize a lot of those things, Jacob and Esau, a lot of those things had spiritual meaning. But, us being carnal, we just kind of looked at those things that our forefathers and foremothers went through. And we're like, oh, man, that was just a good story. That was a good read. Oh, I really learned something. But we didn't really learn nothing because we didn't get the spiritual meaning out of those things that the Lord wanted us to get. Okay? And so it is with the book of Leviticus, because Leviticus is definitely one of those books. If you don't have no spiritual discernment, if you're carnal, you will not understand the book of Leviticus. None of the Bible, for that matter. You're just going to see this stuff all as being physical. Oh man, that was a good story. Or ooh, lambs, goats, rams. Oh, look at these rituals. But a lot of this stuff has spiritual meanings. All right. But I don't want to beat the dead horse, brothers and sisters. We're gonna go ahead and get into this lesson. I don't really have any scriptures for this chapter. So, we pretty much just going to read this straight on through, because this is pretty much the sister chapter to Leviticus 13. So we pretty much just going to read this through, and we're going to call it a day. I might interject here and there, but for the most part, we just going to read it and be done. So if you want to skip this video, hey, feel free to, and read this on your own. But if you want to stay with me and read with me, hey, feel free to. It's your choice. All right. Now, Leviticus chapter 14 and verse 1, and it says, "And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, This shall be the law of the leper in the day of his cleansing. He shall be brought unto the priest, and the priest shall go forth out of the camp. And the priest shall look, and behold, if the plague of leprosy be healed in the leper." Because remember, the leper, according to Leviticus 13, when a man was pronounced as being leprous, he was basically forced outside of the camp. He was kicked out. He was basically kicked out. He was separated from his brothers and sisters. So the Lord is basically giving them instructions on what happens if, this leper, if the priest go out and this leper is basically cleansed from his leprosy. That's what we're looking at. So verse 3, "And the priest shall go forth out of the camp," all right, "and the priest shall look, and behold, if the plague of leprosy be healed in the leper, then shall the priest command to take for him that is to be cleansed 2 birds alive and clean, and cedar wood, and scarlet, and hyssop. And the priest shall command that one of the birds be killed in an earthen vessel, over running water. As for the living bird, he shall take it in the cedar wood, in the scarlet, in the hyssop, and shall dip them and the living bird in the blood of the bird that was killed over the running water. And he shall sprinkle upon him that is to be cleansed from the leprosy 7 times, and shall pronounce him clean, and shall let the living bird loose in the open field. And he that is to be cleansed shall wash his clothes, and shave off all his hair, and shall wash himself in water, that he may be what? Clean. And after that he shall come into the camp, and shall tarry abroad out of his tent 7 days, but it shall be on the seventh day that he shall shave off, but he shall shave all his hair off his head, and his beard and his eyebrows, even all his hair he shall shave off, and he shall wash his clothes. Also he shall wash his flesh in water, and he shall be clean. Verse 10. And on the 8th day he shall take 2 lambs without blemish, and 1 ewe lamb of the first year without blemish, and 3 tenth deals of fine flour for a meat offering, mingled with oil, and 1 log of oil. And the priest that maketh him clean shall present the man that is to be made clean in those things before the Lord at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. Okay? And that's basically Christ's job. He's going to pronounce us clean before the Father. Okay? It says 12, and the priest shall take one he lamb and offer him for a trespass offering, and the log of oil, and wave them for a wave offering before the Lord. And he shall slay the lamb in the place where he shall kill the sin offering and the burnt offering in the holy place. For as the sin offering is the priest, so is the trespass offering. It is what most holy. 14. And the priest shall take some of the blood of the trespass offering, and the priest shall put it upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot. And the priest shall take some of the log of oil and pour it into the palm of his own left hand. And the priest shall dip his right finger in the oil. And I'm going to just go ahead and say this. Thank God for Jesus. Because we no longer have to deal with all of this stuff right here. Thank God for Jesus. Seriously, man. Because some of the stuff, that these priests and everything had to do was it was monotonous. And they had to do this a lot, for people who were unclean, who were considered lepers. It was a lot of work. That was a lot of work. And I'm going to say this too, this is what, and I said this in the previous lesson, but truly these priests were imperfect, because all they could do for a brother or sister was to pronounce them either clean, as being clean, or unclean. But see, they had no power to make a man or woman clean. But Jesus did. When Jesus came down, being our high priest, he was able to examine, and at the same time, he was able to say, be clean. And the person was what? Clean. See, Jesus had power. These priests are imperfect. They have no power. But Jesus had the power to make the leper clean. That's why, Jesus, that's why he's superior in every way. Now, in this case, the leper, the man that had the leprosy, the leper represents us, like I said previously. And the leprosy represented sin. And the priest represented Jesus. Okay? That's basically the parable here. Except the only difference is Jesus has the power to cleanse, while these priests, they did not. They didn't have the power to do those things, thus making them imperfect. All right. Verse, 18. And the remnant of the oil that is in the priest's hands, he shall pour upon the head of him that is to be cleansed, and the priest shall make an atonement for him. Okay. 19. And the priest shall offer the sin offering and make an atonement for him. And remember, what makes an atonement? The blood is what makes the atonement for the said individual. So it says, the priest shall offer the sin offering and make an atonement for him that is to be cleansed from his what? Uncleanness. And afterward he shall kill the burnt offering. And the priest shall offer the burnt offering and the meat offering upon the altar. And remember, I said thank God for Jesus too, because remember, guys, we don't have that temple no more. That temple is no more. So if Christ did not die for us, we would be screwed being under this old covenant, where we had to do all these rituals and its rites and all these ceremonial things, because all of that was tied around this temple. But see, we have another temple, brothers and sisters. We have a better priest. And who is that? Jesus. So Jesus truly made things easy for us. So we are truly now without excuse. We truly have no business being unclean. Okay? Verse, let me see where was that? 20. And the priest shall offer the burnt offering and the meat offering upon the altar, and the priest shall make an atonement for him, and he shall be clean. Because remember, making those offerings, like I said, they did two things: made an atonement as well as made peace with God. Verse 21. And if he be poor and cannot get so much, then he shall take one lamb for a trespass offering to be waived, to make an atonement for him. And what? And 1/10 deal of fine flour mingled with oil for a meat offering, and a log of oil, and 2 turtle doves and 2 young pigeons, such as he is able to get. And the one shall be a sin offering, and the other a burnt offering. And that's what I love about the poor, brothers and sisters. Throughout this whole Bible, you always see that the Most High, he's a God of equity. He doesn't expect the poor man to give the same as a rich man. And he doesn't expect the rich man to give as a poor man. Okay? He meet everybody right where they at. He deal with everybody on their level. I love that about the Most High. But see, Babylon is not so. Babylon don't care what class you in. Babylon expect everybody to give equal. You poor, I don't care. You better give the same percentage of money as a rich man giving. And if you don't have it, you done. That's how Babylon is. Babylon ain't got no equity at all. They don't look out for the poor. They don't entreat the poor well. But the Lord does. In the Lord system, he looks out for the poor. He entreats the poor well, meets them where they are. But it's not so here in Babylon. Babylon don't take no excuses. They have no mercy, no pity. Because see, in this Babylonian system, okay, this Babylonian system does not allow for mercy. It does not allow for patience. It doesn't allow for kindness. This system is all about personal gain, running everybody over to get what you can get. That's what it is. And there's many names to it: socialism, capitalism, all kind of stuff, communism. All they put a name on the system. They got all of these names, but it's the same system, brothers and sisters. It's the same system. But it's okay, because when the Most High come back, he gonna get rid of this wicked and this evil system. And the day that the Most High come back, it's going to be equity from that day and forward. Ain't gonna be none of this stuff that you see today. All right, so let's go ahead and get back into it. Verse 23. And he shall bring them on the 8th day for his cleansing unto the priest, unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation before the Lord. 24. And the priest shall take the lamb of the trespass offering and the log of oil, and the priest shall wave them for a wave offering before the Lord. And he shall kill the lamb of the trespass offering, and the priest shall take some of the blood of the trespass offering and put it upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot. Verse 15. And the priest shall pour of the oil into the palm of his own left hand, and the priest shall sprinkle with his right finger some of the oil that is in his left hand 7 times before the Lord. And the priest shall put of the oil that is in his right hand upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot, upon the place of the blood of the trespass offering. And the rest of the oil that is in the priest's hands he shall put upon his head, upon the head of him that is to be cleansed, to make an atonement for him before the Lord. And he shall offer the one of the turtle doves or of the young pigeons, such as he can get, even such as he is able to get, the one for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering, with the meat offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for him that is to be cleansed before the Lord. This is the law of him in whom is the plague of leprosy, whose hand is not able to get that which pertaineth to his cleansing. Okay, so as we see, when it comes to the poor, the Lord is a God of equity. He be looking out for him. But the thing I like about the Lord is ain't no fooling him. He know the intent of your heart. He knows your situation. So you can't lie to him. Yeah, Lord, I ain't got this. And you secretly, you rich, but you pretending like you ain't got nothing. See, the Lord, he see all of that stuff. So ain't no fooling him. He know who got something, and he know who don't got nothing. You cannot fool the Lord. Okay. But we're going to keep reading. Now we're going to be dealing with leprosy in houses. All right. Verse 33. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron and unto Aaron, saying, when you be coming to the land of Canaan, which I give to you for a possession, and I put the plague of leprosy in a house of the land of your possession. Wait a minute. The Lord say, and I put the plague of leprosy in a house of the land of your possession. So when a man get leprosy, we just talking about a house. So when a man get leprosy, guess what? The Lord allowed it. The Lord allowed that leprosy upon that man, just like he allowed the leprosy in the house. So we truly see that the Lord is in command and control over all of this stuff. Okay, like I believe it says in Psalms, the leprosy, not the leprosy, the pestilence that walketh in darkness. Who you think got that pestilence walking in darkness, hopping on these wicked folks? The Most High do, because he run this thing. And see, people don't understand that. They believe everything is a coincidence. They believe everything is just happenstance, but it's not. The Lord is in control of this whole earth. People always think that something is Satan. Oh, it's Satan. No, the Lord uses Satan to do his will. When a wicked man or a woman won't get in line, guess what? The Lord released Satan on them. Because Satan's number one goal is to destroy and devour flesh and blood, men and women. That's his number one goal. And that's what he want to do too. And so when a man or woman get out of line, or a child, the Lord send Satan right on them. So the Lord is in control of this thing. Don't ever get it twisted. Verse 35. Okay, so he says in 34 at the end, he says, when he put the plague of leprosy in a house of the land of the possession, 35, and he that owneth the house shall come and tell the priest, saying, it seemeth to me there is as it were a plague in the house. Then the priest shall command that they empty the house before the priest go in. Then the priest shall command that they empty the house before the priest go into it to see the plague, that all that is in the house be not made unclean. And afterward the priest shall go in to see the house. And if he shall look on the plague, and behold, if the plague be in the walls of the house with hollow strakes, greenish or reddish, which in sight are lower than the wall, then the priest shall go out of the house to the door of the house and shut up the house 7 days. And the priest shall come again the 7th day and shall look, and behold, if the plague be spread in the walls of the house, the priest shall command that they take away the stones in which the plague is, and they shall cast them into an unclean place without the city. And that's what's going to happen to every man and woman that's got that leprosy. God going what? Cast them into an unclean place outside of the kingdom. Right outside. Right in the flames and outer darkness. Because this leprosy ain't really leprosy. This house ain't really a house. This house is talking about men and women. And this leprosy represents sin. That's what the Lord is dealing with here. But he's using this physical stuff to show us a spiritual meaning. 41. And he shall cause the house to be scraped within round about, and they shall pour out the dust that they scrape off without the city into an unclean place, and they shall take other stones and put them into the place of those stones, and he shall take other mortar and shall plaster the house. And if the plague come again and break out in the house after that he have taken away the stones, and after he have scraped the house, and after it is plastered, then the priest shall come and look, and behold, if the plague is spread in the house, it is a fretting leprosy in the house. It is what? Unclean. And he shall break down the house, the stones of it, and the timber thereof, and all the mortar of the house, and shall carry them forth out of the city into an unclean place. Moreover, he that goeth into the house all the while that it is shut up shall be unclean unto the even. And he that lieth in the house shall wash his clothes. And he that eateth in the house shall wash his clothes. So that lets you know you don't need to be hanging out with the wicked like you buddy. Okay? Now dispensing the word and everything like that to them is fine. That's great. The Bible is not against that. Okay? You trying to give out the word. Okay? You trying to get brothers and sisters to repent. Hey, that's good. But you shouldn't be out there hanging with the wicked doing what they do. Because guess what? Now you going to be unclean. You're going to be unclean. Then now the Lord going to have to deal with you. Okay? Verse 48. And if the priest shall come in and look upon it, and behold, the plague have not spread in the house, after the house was plastered, then the priest shall pronounce the house clean, because the plague is healed. And that's how it's going to be, brothers and sisters, according to these last 6 verses that we just read. Some people going to be filthy, okay? And Jesus is going to cleanse them and clean them up. And they're going to be cleansed for a while. But then they go right back to doing evil, okay? They got that leprosy again. And the Lord going to have to tear them down, okay? Eternal damnation. But then there's going to be some who were unclean, and the Lord cleanse them, okay? And then from that day forward, they never go back to doing wickedness. Well, guess what? Their house is going to be pronounced what? Clean. They're going to go into the kingdom, all right? So much you can get out of this, brothers and sisters. You must do your due diligence and read for yourself, okay? Verse 49. And he shall take to cleanse the house 2 birds in cedar wood and scarlet and hyssop. And he shall kill the one of the birds in an earthen vessel overrunning water. And he shall take the cedar wood and the hyssop and the scarlet and the living bird and dip them in the blood of the slain bird and in the running water, and sprinkle the house 7 times. And he shall cleanse the house with the blood of the bird, and with the running water, and with the living bird, and with the cedar wood, and with the hyssop, and with the scarlet. But he But he shall let go the living bird out of the city into the open fields and make an atonement for the house, and it shall be clean. Okay. And obviously, this house represents us. 54. This is the law for all manner of leprosy. This is the law for all manner of plague of leprosy and scald, and for the leprosy of a garment and of a house, and for a rising, and for a scab, and for a bright spot, to teach when it is unclean and when it is clean. Okay, making that difference. This is the law of leprosy. And I hope you guys got some understanding with this lesson, and I will see you in the next chapter. Shalom.